How's it going, guys? My name's Wilson. As the 2010s decade's almost coming to an end, it felt like yesterday when Kobe Bryant was still the face of the NBA, captured his fifth and final championship just 9 years ago with purple and gold. In one of the most compelling playoff series, the Lakers dominated their opponents using their size, running the triangle. 9 years later, only one player from this Laker roster still in the NBA. So where are the 2010 NBA champion Lakers now? Let's start with legendary head coach Phil Jackson, who won his final title, 11 total as head coach, most in NBA history. Coached his final season in 2011 after being swept by Dallas in the second round, falling short of his fourth three-peat. A lot has happened with the Zen Master over the last 9 years. After the Lakers fired Mike Brown early into the 2012-13 season, LA approached Phil to replace Brown, but Jim Buss and management stupidly decided to hire Mike D'Antoni instead of the 11-time champ. Within a couple games, Laker fans chanted, "We won Phil." Unfortunately, that never happened. In 2014, he was introduced as president of the Knicks, signed a fat 5-year $60 million contract. The lowest point of his basketball career turned out as big of a disaster imaginable. His coaching genius failed to translate in the front office, signed his former guys way past their primes, and Shannon Brown, even Lamar Odom, according to Stephen A. Smith.
His very first move as the executive was to sign Lamar Odom, who was on crack!
Brought in Derek Fisher as head coach, who had his off-the-court distractions, tried to sign DJ Benga, reuniting the whole Laker title team together, signed Slasha Vujacic, broke up with Jeanie Buss after Christmas of 2016, called out Melo, ducked the Knicks franchise to a deeper hole, was finally fired in summer of 2017. With his poor decision-making, he still hurts the Knicks to this very day, has been out of the NBA circle for over a year now, and enjoying his spiritual journeys traveling around the world. Jim Clemens, a former longtime Phil Jackson assistant, is now an assistant coach for the Yeshiva University of Los Angeles high school boys basketball team. Frank Hamlin, who took over in 2005 as interim, passed away on September 30th, 2017 at age 70. While Brian Shaw was the associate head coach for the Lakers under Luke Walton, was the head coach of the Nuggets for 2 seasons. And Gary Vitti, the legendary trainer, retired the same night Kobe did. Marco Nunes took over after Gary retired and parted ways with the Lakers after 2019 due to the many injuries the Lakers had. Now on to the players. DJ Benga, who's now 38 years old, last played for New Orleans the season after. Phil Jackson picked him up in New York but was cut in preseason. Benga recently attended Dirk Nowitzki's final home game, was one of 132 players registered for the Big 3 draft. Adam Morrison, considered one of the biggest busts in NBA history after a legendary college career at Gonzaga, 2010 was his final season. Game 5 against OKC in the first round was the last time Adam Morrison played in an NBA game, and he's still only 34 years old today. Was never the same after he tore his ACL his second season with the Bobcats. Played overseas after, had a couple failed comebacks with the Wizards and Blazers, would become a student assistant for his Bulldogs, completed his undergrad degree in sport management. Morrison would have a failed NBA career, but he's totally moved on from basketball, saved the millions of dollars he's made throughout his career, smartly invested that money, now lives in Washington with his entire life revolved around his 3 kids, serves as a radio color commentator for Gonzaga basketball. In his life, he says, "I'm a pretty boring guy. I'm a typical soccer dad." Morrison simply lives life to the fullest and happy he doesn't have to work a 9-to-5 job. Slasha Vujacic, who's 35 years old, last played with the Knicks in 2017 thanks to Phil Jackson, who signed him, played overseas in Italy, afterwards won the 2018 edition of the Italian Basketball Cup, had a tryout with the Pelicans before the season started, but didn't make the team, signed with Verona in the second Italian division this past March. Josh Powell, who was just selected 4th overall in the first round of the Big 3 League in the Killer Threes team, the 6'9" big man's 36 years old today, last played in the NBA in the 2013-14 season. Jordan Farmar, who's still only 32 years old, desperately looking for an NBA comeback, last played in the 2016-17 season, only lasted 2 games with the Sacramento Kings, even met with former Laker coach Luke Walton and wanted to play as a backup, but it didn't work out. Will probably unfortunately never get another shot at the NBA again. Luke Walton, who parted ways with the Lakers after a disappointing season. Within a day, he was hired as head coach of the Sacramento Kings. After retiring in 2013, Walton got into coaching and was a success as an assistant with Golden State, lasted 3 seasons as head coach of the Lakers, now currently being investigated by the NBA and the Kings on his sexual assault allegations. Shannon Brown, who was one of the most forgotten high flyers, memorable for his insane dunks back in the day. Brown last played in the 2014-15 season, spent some time with the G League after, had been in a relationship with singer Monica, married in November of 2010, but recently, on March of 2019, Monica filed for divorce, even refuses to mention his name, but I'm sure we'll hear more from that story soon. Ron Artest, who goes by Meta World Peace, last played with the Lakers in the 2016-17 season, played with the Big Three League run the 2018 offseason, has been working out on the documentary The Ron Artest Story, which premieres on Showtime on May 31st during Mental Health Awareness Month. The documentary will feature the entire footage of Malice in the Palace, the first time the NBA has allowed that to be shown in its entirety since it happened. Andrew Bynum, who tried to make an NBA comeback over the summer, had his career cut short by numerous injuries, hasn't played since the 2013-14 season with the Pacers, was only 26 years old at the time, but the game has changed without much traditional centers anymore. Derek Fisher, who retired in 2014 as a member of the OKC Thunder, was hired shortly after retirement by the Knicks for a 5-year $25 million deal thanks to Phil Jackson, lasted 1.5 seasons with the Knicks, and will enter his first season as head coach of the Los Angeles Sparks of the WNBA. Lamar Odom, who overcame tremendous adversity, was devastated after the failed Chris Paul trade happened, felt disrespected, and requested a trade, sending him to Dallas, where he struggled to find his niche, parted ways with the Mavs, dealt with a mental breakdown, played all 82 games with the Clippers in the 2013 season, but was out of shape, averaged only 4 points, battled with depression, fell into a coma, and was hospitalized with life-threatening medical problems in October of 2015. Odom had a near-death experience, placed on life support in the hospital, and slowly recovered from his health scare, have said to have suffered 12 strokes and 6 heart attacks in a very scary coma. In the aftermath, his wife Khloe Kardashian withdrew her request for the divorce, and when Lamar was doing a lot better, she filed for divorce again 7 months later. Odom called himself a walking miracle who had cheated death and acknowledged that his addiction with drugs made the end of his NBA career came faster, but he will make a return to basketball, playing in the Big Three League, named co-captain of the enemy's team after dealing with his demons. Odom calls it a blessing to be able to play the game he loves again, and making a comeback, looking to prove no matter how tough a situation is, you can always bounce back. Pau Gasol, who's the only player on this championship team to still play in the NBA, currently with the Milwaukee Bucks, now at the very twilight of his career. Gasol spent time with the Bulls and Spurs before being waived by San Antonio this past March, and will still make his $6.7 million guaranteed next season. Hasn't been active in the 2019 playoffs, still battling with a left ankle injury, turns 39 in July. I expect Pau to play another season before retiring. Hasn't thought of retirement just yet, but it'll likely come at the early part of the 2020s decade. And of course, Kobe Bryant, who's had an incredible retirement as a businessman, author, CEO, and producer, established Kobe Inc. to own and grow brands in the sports industry, was a 10% stockholder in Body Armor in March of 2014, valued at $6 million after Coca-Cola purchased a minority stock in the company. In August of 2018, the value of Kobe stock rose to $200 million, won an Academy Award for his animated short film, Dear Basketball, won an Oscar, adapted his obsession habits into the business world, and succeeding at all levels, also mentors young players today, passing on knowledge to some of the up-and-coming stars, also coaches his daughter Gianna's basketball team, has no interest in being the Lakers GM, so whoever keeps saying that, they're fake news. Kobe's also a huge inspiration for women's basketball, covers both men and women's basketball on his ESPN Plus show Detail, sharing his knowledge and genius of the game. Retirement's actually better than Kobe's dreamed of, putting in a lot of work, getting up early, staying up late, and finding the right people to work with that same shared passion and producing results, loving every minute of it. Kobe will continue to be a huge inspiration to us all. Almost a decade down the road, it's great to see Kobe succeeding at every aspect of his life, getting his revenge, torching the Suns in the conference finals, and beating the Celtics in the finals in a tough grinded 7-game series. Pau Gasol will no doubt be a future Hall of Famer. It's great that Lamar Odom's doing very well after all he's been through. I just can't believe it's already been 9 years since the Lakers won the championship and gotten to the finals. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Since we're in the middle of the 2019 NBA playoffs right now in the semis, Ben Simmons has still not taken a 3, so I doubt he makes one this postseason. So for my next giveaway, we all know Kyle Lowry's been struggling all postseason, coming up short every playoffs like he always does. If Kyle Lowry drops 35 in any game in the 2019 NBA playoffs, the first person to direct message me on Instagram at WilsonSign93, I'll give you a free Kyle Lowry jersey. Once again, if Kyle Lowry scores 35 points in any game of the 2019 postseason, the first person to DM me, you'll get a free Kyle Lowry jersey. Thank you so much for watching this video. I love all of you. See you next time.